Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jared, and today we're going to be talking about unflavored sparkling water. So I've gathered 8 different brands here. These are some classics that you might know, and then there might be a couple that many people are not really familiar with, and so I've got a lot of local Texas brands. From over here we've got Rambler, which is an Austin brand. We've got Waterloo, which I want to say is an Austin brand, but I'm not 100% sure, but it is Texan. We have Crazy Fizz, which is the crazy water sparkling beverage. So that's also a local Texas sparkling water. We've got Big Swig, another Austin brand. And then we've got HEB store brand sparkling water. So that's going to be a non-name brand to base a lot of these off of. So let's talk about what makes a good sparkling water. So I think predominantly, when you're talking about unflavored, the most important factor is going to be the bubble. You want it to have a nice smooth, clean bubble, not a bunch of different sized bubbles in one taste. You want it to be nice and even to cover your whole mouth. The next is going to be taste, and this is going to be a lighter one that many people might not really even notice. A lot of these are mineral water, so they have minerals added for taste. Some of them are spring water, some of them are, who knows. We're going to go into what they taste like, if there are any differences, if they're really discernible. And then lastly, something that isn't quite as important, but is certainly a factor, is the container, the vessel, and along those lines, a little bit of branding. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start over here on the right. I have these in no particular order right now. So the first one up is going to be the HEB Brand sparkling water. This is not a name brand. This is something from a grocery store that's local to Texas. So I think this is going to be a great starter test. It's going to be something with not a lot of frills. It's definitely the cheapest option on the table, so let's try it out. The thing that I always notice about this sparkling water is that it has a really big bubble. It's got a lot of CO2 in it. It kind of hits you more like a soda. So if you're used to drinking like a Coke, then you're really going to know what to expect when you drink into this. It hits you right away with a lot of CO2. But as part of that, it's kind of a sloppy bubble. You can tell that they're all different sizes. It just hits you kind of all over with a big, uncontrolled bubble. Water doesn't have too much discernible taste. There's not a lot of mineral taste to it. So overall, it's a great middle of the road sparkling water. It's got a big bubble if you like a big bubble, which I know I do. It's a great choice. It's definitely the cheapest out of all of these. So I'm just gonna put them in order of where I think they fall in my own personal taste. That's best bubble, best taste, and then if there are any tiebreakers, we'll go into things like packaging, the vessel that it comes in. Let's go ahead and try the LaCroix. This is going to be one that almost everyone's going to be familiar with. LaCroix is a huge national brand. Definitely wanted it here as a control. This is kind of probably what most people, when they say they are going to go get a sparkling water, mean. All right, let's try this one out. So right off the bat, it's got a way different taste than like the HEB one that we've just had. It's got a bit more of a CO2 taste, which is surprising considering how much of a bubble there was in that. But the water itself just tastes a little bit nicer, but it's pretty close. The bubble seems a bit more refined. You can feel it all the way through the sip. It's got a nice even bubble, unlike that one, which felt a little bit uncontrolled. Overall, this is just, I think, a step ahead of this. It's not that big, but you're getting what you paid for. It's a really nice sparkling water. There's a reason it's kind of the gold standard. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one the next spot up. We might be filling it in between later, but that one's definitely a higher class of sparkling water when compared to our HEB store brand here. The next one, I'm gonna move into our pile of Austin or Texas local sparkling waters in cans. So Waterloo is a Texas local brand. They've got a lot of really interesting flavors. They call it original. But it's just an unflavored sparkling water. The water is very similar to the other two. Definitely in the same vein of the LaCroix. Not a lot special to it, but certainly nothing bad about the taste either. Tastes like water. This one has a much finer bubble than the LaCroix. It's definitely lower in CO2 content. So if you like a smaller bubble, that's certainly great. Bubbles feel all the same. It's got a very refined texture to it. So just for me personally, I think I'm going to put it after the LaCroix. I like a slightly bigger bubble, and while the difference isn't that much, I definitely think it's enough to rank one spot lower. I'm going to move into the Rambler now. So this one is an Austin local. I call this one the bar sparkling water. Around here, when you go downtown, you go into a bar and you ask for a sparkling water, if they don't give it to you from like a seltzer tap, if they give you a can, this is what they're going to give you around here. Let's go ahead and try it out. Now this one is the first one I think that has a discernible taste difference. It tastes really great, it tastes very pure, there's definitely some minerals in there. The bubble's pretty thin, but it fills the whole taste a bit more than the Waterloo. So it feels more like there is more carbonation, even though the bubble is a bit finer. I really love the taste of this one, so this one's going to take the spot over the LaCroix for me. I know this one locally, it costs quite a bit. A 6-pack will run you about the same price as a 12-pack of LaCroix. So we're getting up there in price, but you're definitely getting a taste difference. If that really matters to you, then this is probably worth it. All right, and the last can we have up here, our 5th can, is gonna be Big Swig. This is another awesome brand, much more in the price range of the LaCroix, whereas the Rambler was a bit more expensive. So let's try this one out. So right off the bat, the Big Swig's got a pretty big bubble. It reminds me of a cleaner version of this HEB one, but the taste, after drinking that Rambler, there's really nothing special about it. But I think from just the bubble signature there, it's probably going to step above the LaCroix. It's very refined, it's got a nice bubble, but it's just a little bit bigger, which is nice. I would say so far, the LaCroix, the Waterloo, and the Big Swig have been extremely close. I think the bubble itself, maybe the CO2 content goes a little bit higher as you go up the chain, which I think just tells you a little bit about me and what I prefer in a sparkling water. So you might have arranged this differently. I think the differences between these is very thin. They're just a filtered water with a good clean bubble in it. So next I'm gonna go up to the Topo Chico. A lot of people love Topo Chico. It is a fantastic sparkling water, and it's the only one really that you're gonna get a single size serving in a bottle. Of course, it also brings the price up. This one's going to be a bit closer to the price of the Rambler. I can't remember the exact, but they're definitely both in the higher price range. Wow, you can really taste the difference that the whole sip that you take has just a ton of little bubbles in it. It feels almost like you're just drinking bubbles, which is a really awesome feeling. Also, this one has a great taste. You can really taste the minerals. They really pop out at you. It's really fantastic. But after just trying it with all of these, that's the best one I've had so far. The bubble's perfect. It's even across the whole sip. There's a ton of it. The water tastes great. It's even better than this Rambler. A solid showing on every front. This could just be, subjective, my own personal experience, but the bubble lasts a lot longer in a bottle. I've accidentally left my bottle, whether I'm at work, on my desk, or something like that, and I'll come back and it still tastes like I just opened it. I don't know how they do that. It's pretty incredible. And I don't know if there's any actual science behind that. Totally just a subjective opinion of what I've noticed. That one's going to edge into our first place spot. I think this one takes the lead by quite a bit. We've got 2 left. These 2 come in big bottles, so these are not single serving size. Sometimes I'll drink a whole Pelligrino, but it's not the actual intention of what we're going to do. So let's start with the Pelligrino. Pelligrino, I think, is probably going to be the most universal, maybe LaCroix now because it's kind of a meme. But this is the kind of sparkling water that your parents drank. It's the kind that you'll get at, an Italian food place. It's just something that probably almost everyone's had, even if you're not a big sparkling water drinker. It's also got, probably, in my opinion, the best packaging. It just feels like it's trying a little bit harder. The green bottle, the big blue labels, it looks great all around. I think that's why they serve it at nicer restaurants. You ask for sparkling water, you're going to a nice Italian place, they're gonna bring you this entire thing. So this one's really in a different class. I actually think, for me, it's not my favorite at all. The bubble is so light. Water tastes good, not super special. I would put it much closer to the Rambler, and is that bubble not there? It's really fine. It doesn't coat the whole mouth like a lot of these do. It honestly is hardly a sparkling water. It's really kind of disappointing. It just doesn't have that bubble. It doesn't hit you in the face even a little bit, maybe tickles you, but it would do in a pinch. So personally for me, there's a lot of great things about the Pelligrino, but it's just not what I want to drink on a daily basis. I'm fine with it once in a while, but for me it's actually going to take last spot. I think I'd prefer drinking the HEB just because I want a bigger bubble. I want my sparkling water to sparkle. So this one is another Texas local. There's a brand of just mineral water called Crazy Water. I love the packaging, honestly. It's got a really great look. It's got some inlays in the glass, a really big logo. It's just got a good look. So let's try it out. So that one is really close to the Pelligrino. It's got the mineral water taste. It's got a crazy light bubble. It's almost not there. They're definitely going for the same spot that Pelligrino is. The water tastes great. It's got a great mineral flavor, very similar to the Pelligrino. I think it might edge it out in flavor just a little bit. Let's try it again. Yeah, it's got a really nice taste. It has that really fresh spring water taste. While the bubble's really light, and it's probably not what I want to drink every day, if I went to a nice place and they handed me this instead of a Pelligrino, I think I'd be a little bit on the happy side. So I think I'm gonna edge it in right in here. Both of these are gonna take bottom spot for me just because they're not what I'm really looking for in this. They're both great waters. All right, so there we go. We've got my initial ordering. I know that I probably left your favorite water out of this ranking. I couldn't find all of them. That's a lot of sparkling water to buy, but I think this is a great cross-section of what it's like drinking sparkling water in Texas specifically. This is my 1 through 8. These are all fantastic. You really can't go wrong with any of these. I've been giving sparkling waters a rating out of 10, so I'm gonna go through these really quick and rate them just to give you a kind of over-the-top comparison of what they're all like. Over here at number 1, we've got the Topo Chico. I've always said I don't really believe in a 10 out of 10, but I think that's going to have to take 10 out of 10 for me. I can't find anything wrong with it. It's just such a clean drink. It tastes so good. It's sort of my perfect sparkling water. Here in the number 2 spot, we've got Rambler. It's got a great bubble. It's very similar to the normal canned sparkling waters that you're gonna have. Really nice, clean mineral water taste. This one's probably gonna jump all the way down to an 8 out of 10 for me. It's really good, but it just doesn't have that absolutely perfect bubble. These 3 are so close that I'm just gonna rate them the same. I think all of these are 6 out of 10s. They're above average for sure. They're probably what I still will drink on a daily basis. You can get a 12 pack for like $4.50. All these, good clean bubble, pretty good, just normal filtered water taste. You could drink these all day long and you'd be totally happy with it. I'm gonna put the HEB brand at a solid 5. There's really nothing too special about it and there's nothing wrong with it either. I'm basing these off of the same exact metrics as all of the others. I think if we were just going off of taste, this one would probably score a little bit higher, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4. I could see an argument to bring it all the way down to a 3 just because the bubble's not really there. You know what? I'm gonna go with a 3. It's a good water, but the bubble is not there. It's not what I want when I'm going for a sparkling water. If I were judging it solely on its taste, it would definitely be up in the 7 or 8 category. So if you're ever looking for a good still water, I've never actually had it, but Crazy Water seems like it would be a really good contender if it's got the same taste. And lastly, over here in 8th, we've got the Pelligrino. Taste is good, it's above average of a taste, but on a bubble scale, it's just not anything there. It's gonna go 2 out of 10 for me on this scale. I hope I don't make any people mad who love Pelligrino and drink it every day, but when I'm going for a sparkling water, it's not what I want. So this is all opinion when it comes down to it, but I hope that I've given you a little bit more information by being able to try all 8 of them side by side. Let me know what you think, how you would have rated these, but thanks for watching.